Utopia comes from Thomas More's book, Utopia, which describes a completely ideal republic, utopia, meaning a realm of ideal perfection, a vision of an ideal community and society in which the citizens also have to struggle for work. But all the ugly phenomena of society, such as poverty and misery, are far from this paradise. There are only a few legal provisions and no lawyers. And no citizens are willing to wage war, while they welcome all religious schools of thought with tolerance. In terms of technology, mankind, on the other hand, can use advanced science and technology to get rid of suffering and death, or to raise the standard of living. Heterotopia refers to a space within the real society, either planned by the rulers, the public authorities, or projected by the members of the society in the form of imagination. It is a space in which the elements, the members of society that we do not want to see in normal society, that need to be reorganized, that need to be treated, that need to be trained, are placed in a specific space. Because of the existence of this space, it instead projects the existence of what we call normalcy in our society. For example, hospitals, prisons, shopping malls, etc. So utopia is an ideal, distant, fictional space, whereas heterotopia has the possibility of social practice, of the here and now, of human interaction. Utopias usually appear in urban form and are organized on political principles. On the 9th of March, the Wall Street Journal reported that Tesla CEO Elon Musk had purchased thousands of acres of new ranch and farmland outside the U.S. capital of Austin, Texas, where he was planning to build his town, according to land records such as deeds and sources close to the situation. It was first in 1968 that the Bengali philosopher Sri Aurobindo Ghosh and the French woman philosopher Myra Althusser, the Main Mother, set out to create an ideal village in Aurora. Their design was that it should resemble a galaxy, with light emanating from a central spherical part and illuminating all parts of the village. The aim was to achieve human unity. So far, Aurora Village is the only internationally recognized place to experiment with human unity, and the project has been endorsed by the Indian government and UNESCO. At present, Aurora Village has over 2,000 permanent residents from over 50 countries around the world. However, in the view of some literary scholars, the utopia appears to be an ideal society that is fair and orderly, free from poverty and strife. But in reality, it is a facade of total control and freedom, where human dignity and humanity are denied. As in 1984, the main character's diary raises several questions. Who has the right to interpret freedom? Why are the features of anti-utopia like precision weapons tailor-made for certain countries? When anti-utopia has become a means of attack in the ideological sphere, is the understanding and interpretation of anti-utopia still free? Is the dictatorship of the right of interpretation hidden behind the freedom? So in this case, like a utopia, the anti-utopia is a means for writers, or literary creators, to intervene in reality and history. All these imaginings give us a grand blueprint of society and politics that expresses the desire for fairness and freedom. The escapist utopia does not change anything in the external world. The reconstructive utopia tries to change the external world and thus to communicate with it on its own terms. The escapist utopia is created and destroyed again and again, and so on, day after day. It is extremely dangerous to remain in an escapist utopia. It is an enchanting island, and those who linger in it will lose their ability to cope with the world. Reconstructive utopias can also be influenced by primitive desires and aspirations. but these desires and aspirations have begun to take into account the world they seek to realize. As the name implies, a reconstructed utopia is a reconstruction of the environment. If the escapist utopia is a retreat of the imaginary back into self-consciousness, the reconstructive utopia is a drawing of the imaginary into the external world of reality. But most utopias are mere symbolic components and fragments, omnipresent, permeating the crevices of human life, tirelessly mapping our dreams. They stand on the ruins of idealism, like the song of the sirens, calling out to the world in a compelling way. Great science fiction is either a cautionary tale, a warning sign, or an aspirational future. The great power of science fiction is that it can take us into a possible future, confront us with it and force us to ask the questions: is this a world we want to live in? Or, is this a world we want to escape from, kicking and screaming? If this is the world we want to live in, how do we enact that world? What decisions might we have to make in order to make it happen? If this is an anti-utopia and we want to stop that world, what do we need to do today to make sure it doesn't happen in the future? In essence, utopia is an expression of human desire, linked on the one hand to the material existence of human society and the way it is produced, and on the other hand to the inner drive of man, to his state of being. Utopia represents something that cannot be achieved, but the fact that it cannot be achieved does not mean that it is meaningless. It is meant to inspire those who want to change the world or are changing it to think about how to rebuild or optimize a society. At the same time, utopia can also be a reflection of human awareness and reflection on the current society from another perspective.